Okay, so what the hell is going on in the world with a tariff war? CNN says EU pauses retaliatory tariffs on U.S. goods for 90 days. But let's let Donald Trump explain himself what's going on here.
People were jumping a little bit out of line. They were getting yippy, you know? They were getting a little bit yippy, a little bit afraid, unlike these champions, because we have a big job to do. No other president would have done what I did. No other president. I know the presidents, they wouldn't have done it. And it had to be done. What was happening to us on trade, not only with, you know, if you look at it, not only with China, but China was by far the biggest abuser in history, and others also, but somebody had to do it. They had to stop because it was not sustainable. Last year, China made $1 trillion off trade with the United States. That's not right. And now I've reversed it. It's for a short period of time, but we made $2 billion. We're making now $2 billion a day. And somebody had to do it. People were...
It's insane. It really is. He keeps on insisting on this thing that a trade deficit is a tariff, which is not. This is, again, I'll explain it again. This is as I go to a supermarket and I spend, I don't know, $1,000. I buy some groceries. I see a TV that I like. I buy the TV. I buy a bunch of crap from Walmart, and I go back home and I go, oh, Walmart stole from me $1,000. No, they did not. I bought a bunch of stuff because I had disposable income. I had money. When you print the reserve currency of the world, you have more money than everyone else. You happen to be the richest country in the world, and therefore, of course, you buy more stuff than Vietnam or Bangladesh, where your own companies move their industry to because it's cheaper labor. When your own companies move those factories to Mexico so as to take advantage of cheaper labor, it is not the fault of Mexico that your company opened a factory over there. They probably welcomed it like everyone does when money comes in. It was your own company that chose to make cheaper products and probably sell them for the same price so as to maximize profit. Get angry with them, not with a guy in Bangladesh. But this is the insanity that started all of this was this idea that a trade deficit was somehow stealing from the United States. It is not. It is simply a trade deficit. Maybe become more competitive. Maybe have more local industry that is more appealing to some of your partners around the world, right? But as of right now, the situation stands in the following way. We have a 90-day pause on this insanity, right? Why? Because as Donald Trump has said himself, let's go with the things he actually said.
A bit afraid,
unlike these champions. The money was afraid, guys. It was unsustainable the way in which everything was falling apart and money was running away, right? It's a unsustainable situation where everyone is okay. So we're not doing business anymore, are we? No, we're not. We have insane made-up tariffs just because I don't like a trade deficit because I have too much money. It's insane. It's crazy, and that's why he paused it. Ideally, you know what would have been extremely well welcomed in the market is, yeah, okay, he has to sell it. I get it. Trump needs to sell it. So you go, well, it actually worked great. Everyone came to the table, and now everyone wants to have free trade with us. Freedom wins. That would have been something that the average mouth breather out in the street would have gone, okay, yeah, we actually won. We did great. Everyone is super scared of us, so now they want free. That would have been a victory. Elon Musk would have been happy. Everyone else that want to trade freely around the world would have been happy. Guys, if you think that free trade is not a good idea, you're against freedom. You are against freedom if you believe that free trade is not a good idea. I get it. There are certain strategic resources that you need to protect. And that's why you do have actual real tariffs on certain things. You need to find a way of balancing things so as to have the most amount of freedom possible, right? If I have some strategic resource that I need to make sure I produce, right, and it's getting a beating because of some other cheap import, yeah, you do that. I'm not saying you don't. military, strategic resources, all of that needs to be protected. But you need to do this extremely carefully so as to make sure that the foundation of your ethos as trade is freedom of trade. We deal with stuff. You make something that is cheap, okay, maybe I make something that is just as cheap, maybe a little bit better. Maybe I don't make stuff that is cheap at all. Maybe I make high quality goods and people need those. And they buy them, they do. And that's basically what it comes down to. But as of right now, we are in this state of 90-day pause, waiting to see what happens. This is not good for business. This is not good for money. Money wants stability, wants reassurance that this will not happen again. With a pause, who knows what happens? You only have to now wait for 90 days. That's why you see these numbers not looking all that great. That's why you see these numbers, in spite of all of this, oh yeah, the auto the deal, that's why it's bouncing like a ping pong ball all over the place. And it will settle for some number. And yes, buy the dip whenever you can, of course. But we don't live in this stock market. We live in the real world where businesses either go for it or they don't. And if you don't have stability, clear rules, you have predictability, money is not invested. That's never how it works. Never worked that way, never will. You need to know that 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, I still have somewhat of stability to keep doing business and having made my investment worth it. Because if not, you don't invest.